Star Wars 7x7 episode 2499. We're going to continue talking about the Bad Batch premiere and going into more spoilerish territory. Yes, I know a new episode dropped today, but this episode of the podcast is actually being produced prior to the release of that thing, so we'll get to that new episode eventually. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about Omega and what we learned about her in the premiere. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So we have a lot to unpack really from the Bad Batch premiere. That's the episode entitled Aftermath, and we will get to all of that in due course. But the big things to talk about, the shocking and exciting things were, of course, what we talked about with that particular Padawan who shows up in the premiere. That's what we talked about yesterday. And now we're going to talk about Omega because now we have a better handle on what her deal is. There's still a lot to learn, but we do know some very important things. First of all, we have it confirmed now that she is a clone, and she is a clone of Jango Fett. She is the first and only one that we know of at this point, female clone of Jango Fett, which is pretty remarkable just in general. And she is also considered to be an enhanced clone. So you're familiar presumably with the concept of the enhanced clones in Clone Force 99. There were only supposed to be 5 of them, or at least that's what we're being told so far. And in a nifty little twist, and so this is where we start to get into spoilerish territory, we are led to believe that they're just talking about Clone Force 99 as we've gotten to know them in the Bad Batch episodes from Clone Wars Series 7, meaning that you kind of walk into this thinking that Echo is the 5th member of this enhanced set of clones about whom they're speaking. But no, that's not actually the case, because Echo was a reg, as the Clone Force 99 members like to refer to him, meaning that he was a regular clone trooper before everything that happened to him in the previous Clone Wars series. So the 5th enhanced clone is in fact Omega. As to what her particular enhancement is it, one thing, or is it everything? Because the reason I say that is because Tech has a moment where he talks about how they shouldn't, discount her observations because heightened awareness is a trait of enhanced clones. And of course, the members of Clone Force 99 have heightened awarenesses that are related to very specific things, Tech with tech-related stuff, Wrecker, I assume with just brute force, Hunter with tracking skills, for example, and also Crosshair with his sniper skills. So yes, there is some sort of enhancement that's particular to each of the members of Clone Force 99, and there must be something like that for Omega as well. But what that enhanced awareness is and how it manifests, well, one of the things that happens, of course, toward the end of the episode is she fires a blaster, and having never fired a blaster before, is able to land a perfectly placed shot, which she attributes to luck, but, if you don't know any better, then sure, that's exactly what you're going to attribute it to, right? But another important point to consider is that she's being employed as a medical assistant, or as it's derisively put, a lab scrubber. Yeah, I think that probably sells her very short. A medical assistant to Nala Se, who is the chief medical officer of the Kaminoan cloners, that is a really big deal. And so being a medical assistant, if that's, I guess, in all honesty, we should probably give it the caveat and say if that's what she really was. I don't really doubt it, but, we just got to put that out there. The fact that she is serving as a medical assistant suggests that her particular abilities lean toward, say a medic, for example, or just being able to have heightened empathic abilities. And just another example of that, when they're all thrown in the brig together, and she has a moment with Crosshair where she says, I know what you're thinking about doing, but please don't do it, right? Her awareness of what is going on with him suggests a stronger than normal empathic connection. But then again, it could also be medically related as well, because she could be aware of what's going on with the inhibitor chips with the clones. And it probably, wouldn't be a complete discussion without noting the fact that one of her close companions is AZ-3, who is that fun droid floating around and whatnot. And AZ-3 has actually appeared in Star Wars before. He is the droid that assisted Fives when they had that 4-episode arc back in season 6 where Fives discovered the conspiracy about the inhibitor chips inside clones' brains, but unfortunately met an early demise and was seen as, not very stable, and so he wasn't able to get the word out in a very tragic storyline. And Nala Se herself is also one of the few people who's aware of the whole inhibitor chip situation with the clones. And we'll get to Nala Se in another episode because that's a whole other kettle of fish to unpack. And hopefully I won't be mixing metaphors by the time we get to that episode. So we have Omega, who is demonstrating heightened awareness, which is something that is common to enhanced clones, seems to have empathic abilities to some degree, and also seems to have marksmanship skills. That really does kind of lean her into being a clone who is a jack of all trades for all intents and purposes. So she is the desirable genetic mutation that is the sum of all the previous desirable genetic mutations. This is what it's starting to look like just with the hints they've given us in this first episode. But she's also just a kid and apparently never been off Camino, so part of the dynamic with the Bad Batch and her is going to be that whole situation of, oh my gosh, these 4 warriors are now responsible for a young girl, and yeah, she may be an enhanced clone, but she's also a young girl, so that's a whole other storytelling dynamic entirely, and introduces a lot of new interesting possibilities for all of the characters to grow and become more dynamic as the series goes on. And speaking of it going on, they have finally confirmed that it'll be 16 episodes for season 1. As to whether there will be multiple seasons, there's no confirmation of that, and they're just gonna have to wait and see basically if they get the green light for more seasons, depending on how well this is received, which we're off to a pretty good start so far. But there is going to be a larger payoff somewhere down the line. So Jennifer Corbett and Brad Rao did an interview recently, and Jennifer Corbett, who is writing the episodes for The Bad Batch, said that who she is and why she's important will be revealed over the course of the series, and that they are going somewhere with this. Like, this is not just let's throw a young girl in with them and see what happens. That's part of it, but there is more to the story that will be revealed. And that is where we stand on Omega so far, at least, not counting the episode that dropped today on Disney+, but we will get to that too, and Nala Se, and a whole bunch more in future episodes. For now, that's going to do it for this one, and it just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for it, as always. And may the Force be with you, wherever in the world you may be.
Star Wars 7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2021 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.